My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Birdman, or the Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, or as everybody else calls it, Birdman. Let's just keep our titles short and sweet. But this is a movie that critics love. It won Best Picture for the year 2014, and I have to say, that is absolutely insane to me. Like, Boyhood was the runner-up, but I would pick that movie over this one any day. But it's also the same year of Gone Girl and Nightcrawler and Whiplash, which should have won, and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And the fact this movie won over all of them is just makes zero sense to me. But this is a movie that I'm very mixed on. I do like how this movie focuses on an artist as he puts himself into his work when he should really be putting that time and effort into his family, and how he's just so desperate to be admired by the critics and general public when it really doesn't do anything for him. And I do think this movie is incredibly well directed. Alejandro Inarritu is a phenomenal director. Not always the best screenwriter, but his directing abilities are just showcased so perfectly here. This movie is shot to look like one take, and it's very impressive. Now, I don't know if it actually adds anything to this movie, but I was just blown away the entire time. Emmanuel Lubezki did a great job, and it's very well edited because, they have to edit it to make it look like one shot, and they put it off flawlessly. And even though I wouldn't listen to the music in my free time, I do think the music complements the style of the movie very well. So technically, this movie is just fantastic. The cast also does a very good job. Michael Keaton was perfectly cast because he used to play Batman, and his character here used to play Birdman, so it fits, and he's great. He carries this movie incredibly well. You've also got Emma Stone, and I do think her character has depth. How she has been desperate for her father's attention her entire life, and how that affects her nowadays. I think there's lots of layers to her character that she showcases incredibly well. I don't think we get enough of her though, unfortunately. I think she could have served as the emotional foundation, but the movie just keeps her at a distance too often. You've got Zach Galifianakis, who I think does a fine job. You've got Andre Riseborough, who's good. Amy Wine, good. Naomi Watts, really good. But the best performance of this movie comes from Edward Norton. Like, he's just one of the best actors ever. You see him in this movie, you see him in American History X, you see him in Primal Fear, and he just always delivers. He's demanding your attention whenever he's on screen. He showcases this character so perfectly, and I felt like it was a take on the method actor and just how bogus that kind of person is. So the entire cast does a very good job. There was actually one scene in this movie that I forgot to mention when I was talking about the directing, but I'm going to mention now. It's a scene between Edward Norton and Naomi Watts, and he's just being this despicable scumbag. They're lying in bed together, and the set is moving. And the way that scene just progresses, and then they're in front of a live audience, just incredible work. But my issue comes from the fact that there's just no level of emotion in this movie. It's just completely lacking, and I like to feel something while watching a movie, whether it's a sense of awe and wonder, or whether it's just making me laugh, or whether it's making me scared, or just making me feel overwhelmed with emotion and making me feel sad. But this movie doesn't come close to doing that. as much time as we spend with all these characters, at the end of the day, I couldn't care less about them. And like, the movie's incredibly impressive at the start. The first act is perfect. But by the time the second act kicks in, you're just like, okay, I feel like I've already seen this. Does this movie have anything else to offer? And then by the last act, well, it goes super surreal. I'm just totally checked out. I think it's stupid. You can explain it to me in as many essays as you want, but I do not care. I don't think it works. And it just comes across as pretentious. And this stuff is really, to me, the most important thing, because there can be as many layers to a movie and what it's trying to do, but at the end of the day, it's all about how it makes me feel. Do I see myself revisiting this movie anytime soon? No, I wouldn't be surprised if I never put it on again. And this movie just, it's very well made. It's very well acted, but it just never grabs me. I never felt locked in. And, there is a level of this movie where it feels like, oh, because he's putting himself into this movie, that it's a shame that it won't appeal to the general audience, while at the same time being as self-indulgent and being as pretentious as possible. And I didn't like that whole aspect. So there's plenty to admire on the screen. I don't hate this movie. For the craftsmanship alone, I'm going to be a bit nice on it, but it's not one to rush out if you have zero interest in it. So I'll give Birdman, or The Unexpected Virtue of Ignorance, a 5 out of 10 with a slight recommendation. Okay, did you watch Birdman? What did you think about it? Do you think it deserved to win Best Picture for the year 2014? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. And Gavin, out.